Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 225. Andrew Eisen here on my brand new computer, mostly. Tonight we are trying, well, I are trying to stream from my new PC, which has 7 of the 8 necessary parts. The 8th part, the video card, is Kyle Kraus of KNGI, who hosts the podcast, was kind enough to gift me his old video card. So that's what's in the box, and it's trying so hard. Its little fans are all the time, but it's keeping up. So I'm we're gonna ease into it. I'm still gonna try and get a modern video card at some point, but they all cost $1,000 right now, um, so it's gonna be a bit. Um, but I have an older generation video card in here, and it's strained, but it's holding solid so far. So tonight we are streaming the show from my new PC using OBS, and just making sure everything works correctly. Now, I'm not using my dual monitor setup. Normally, I'd have like the chat on a second monitor and OBS open on the second monitor so I could keep an eye on the frame rate stuff and dropped frames and the chat and all that while doing any notes and stuff I have on my main screen. Um, I'm not throwing 2 monitors at this video card right now. We're going to start simple. So I bought, to help out this video card, I bought um, 2 new fans that are on their way and hopefully will be here before next week. So I'm hoping that I really don't want to push this sucker too hard until I get more fans in the box. So we're going to put 2 new fans in there this week, hopefully. And then next week we'll try the dual monitor setup. And if that works without a hitch, then next Sunday, so weekend after this one, 8 days from now, if everything's still working, we'll try streaming a game. We'll try. We'll see how that goes. So, uh, of course, with since I'm not buying a video card, I used the money that I had set aside for a video card to buy 2 new fans. I thought about ripping the fans out of my old box, the chassis fan and the CPU fan, and using those, but the leads on them are way too short. I'd have to extend them, and fans aren't that expensive. I'd rather just buy decent modern fans than yanking the old ones. Also, I'm pretty sure I don't have any spare wire I could use to splice in and lengthen the leads on my old chassis and CPU fans. So, bought those. I also bought a SD card reader because my camera records its video on SD cards, and this box does not have an SD card reader built into it like my old one did. So I needed to get a USB, not a hub, it's just a stick with that allows me to read SD cards and micro SD cards. What else did I buy? Uh, oh, I bought a new tripod because the tripod I had my mic on it had been falling apart. It completely fell apart, so had to get a new tripod. The Cat 5 patch cable that connects my wireless router to my PC, the little plastic clip that plugs the head in, that broke off, so I bought a new one of those. Cat 6, not like it matters. I have coax coming out of the wall. Um, you work with what you got, but I mean that's a $2 or $3 cable, so not terrible. I also purchased a new capture card. So Once I put the fan, I got that. Once I put the fans in, I will put the new capture card in too, and hopefully that will allow me to stream console games uh, with minimal lag, so I don't have to artificially put delays on my audio and video to get the game footage and sound to sync up with the me. So that's my hope. Um, Bought some new underwear because I liked the I tried some new ones and they're comfy and my butt looks great, so bought some more. Um, Bought a new shirt, bought a new belt. Actually, I did buy a new shirt and then it didn't fit. It was like I put it on and it fit correctly in the chest, but then I raised my arm and let me make sure I'm actually on camera. And the sleeve is like literally here. I'm like, oh, that's not. It hung okay, but once I raised my arm, it like pulled up my arm like that, and it was a 33 35 measurement. So I got one two sizes, same chest, but sleeves 2 inches longer, or 2 to 4 inches longer. Um, so hopefully that works. So yeah, I've got some. I bought some banana flavored protein. Um, are they all black? Yes, of course they are. Um, because I don't want to sort my laundry. Who has time for that? Ain't nobody got time for sorting their laundry. Let's see. A chaos, hello. Uh, Matthew says, just stream the Trails games. They are literally PSP games. Even an old GPU will be fine. Yeah, I'm not concerned so much. I've actually run some games on this PC. I'm concerned about, dual monitor and game and video and stream. CPU can handle it no problem. I want to take it one step at a time with this GPU because this is an older generation GPU that shouldn't be in there. And I don't. You probably can't hear it, but I can all the time. Those fans are going full tilt at all times. Um, so, but it's not running terribly hot. My the PC's holding stable. Um, I have a temperature monitor and everything's okay. So I think it's going to be fine. I just want to, take it one step at a time. So tonight we're just doing single monitor, regular stream. Next week, once I get two fans in there, two more fans in there, we'll try the dual monitor setup. And if that works fine, which it probably will, then next Sunday we'll start streaming some games and see how that goes. So, okay, so once again, tonight's podcast is going to be all positive things. I'm not going to talk about any negative stuff because I want to be happy. Uh, Needless to say, I'm not going to talk about BlizzConline, not because it would make me unhappy or I have anything particularly negative to say about it, but because the vast majority of Blizzard's output holds no appeal to me. I can respect and admire Diablo and Overwatch and all that good stuff, but I have really no interest in playing it, so I haven't. I'm tangentially aware of what has been announced so far. Um, I'll probably early next week just look at a recap of what happened, what was announced, look at the trailers and stuff. But I'm not sitting there watching the show because I personally don't really care that much. Although I will say, I really like the name BlizzConline. That's good. I would really like to talk about WandaVision. because I'm quite enjoying the show. But the show is, unlike the earlier episodes, it's now getting to the point where talking about it is just going to spoil the fun. And the most recent episode's only been up for less than 2 days, so we're gonna leave that alone. Maybe I'll come circle back to it once the season's over. But I'm quite enjoying it. One of the things I'm enjoying the most about the show, the music. I'm really enjoying the various era-specific theme songs that they've been creating for the show, and I like how they're using the WandaVision leitmotif, the theme, how they're working it into each iteration. I think is fun. Sometimes it's just kind of jammed on the end, like it was in one of the recent ones. But I think it's really clever. I like how it's done. It's fun. Let's see. What's Chaos saying here? Let me move my dug out my original Xbox. Fingers crossed that it still works. Oh yeah, I've got all the stuff like let's see. Hang on, hang on. Yep. Just make sure I don't pull anything off of a thing because of wires, but still have the Super NES down here. Still works. At least last I turned it on. But yeah, that's still here. Although I do have a tube television in my bedroom that's works a lot better for playing N64 or earlier. So anyway, okay, topics. What would I like to talk about first? The Happytime Murders. One of the nice things about streaming via OBS is it gives me more control on the presentation. It's a lot easier to make specific adjustments to video and sound, especially if I have different sounds, especially when I'm streaming, because I can control the game, I can control my audio. It's great. I can also put up different images, which I'll do in a second. So years ago, now Roger Rabbit's one of my favorite movies, not in my top 5, but it is one of my favorites. Years ago, I heard they were going to do, the Henson Company actually was going to do a noir murder mystery with puppets. Similar to Roger Rabbit, the story exists in a world where puppets, like Jim Henson Muppets, were real people or living entities that walked around and lived in the cities and towns and stuff in society with the rest of us. Much like in Roger Rabbit, regular 1940s, 50s California, but with animated characters wandering around. Same thing here, just with puppets. Years ago, they sold it with this piece of concept art. So we have a adult store and with a puppet who's been murdered and their stuffing is all over the place, and you have a puppet private eye sitting on the desk. And I saw this and I was like, I need to see this. This sounds amazing. I want this. So years passed and they finally made the film, and the first trailer for Happytime Murders came out, and it looked awful. Like, painfully bad. I didn't go see it. Came out, I think, in 2018. Came out a couple of years ago. Yeah. Have you ever seen Meet the Feebles? It's a early Peter Jackson work. It's a puppet movie, but very raunchy. It's also terrible. I mean, there is something intrinsically amusing about puppets who through modern cultural zeitgeist, modern in the last 40 years, we associate with kids and family friendly stuff, thanks to Henson Company and the Muppet Show and the Muppet movies and stuff like that. Or even some darker fare like Labyrinth and Dark Crystal, but puppets are generally, through cultural osmosis, we have absorbed to understand that puppets are family friendly. So there is intrinsically something very funny um, about a puppet swearing or having sex or picking its nose or whatever. For me, at least, that's funny for a short sketch does not hold up for an 80-90 minute film. I think Meet the Feebles is terrible. Not just because it has nothing more than raunch, but because it's just outright awful in the first place. I mean, it's really bad. And I saw the trailer for Happytime Murders, and it just looked raunchy. And I was like, oh, that's upsetting. Also, some of the effects look terrible. They were doing some wide shots of puppets, like full body shots of puppets walking around, and it's clear that they had people in green jumpsuits, puppeteering, and they were just erased, and it looked really bad. So I'm like, some of the effects look garbage. It doesn't look funny. It looks really terrible. The tone looks terrible. So I didn't see it. So I'm making this story much longer than it really needs to be. But so I'm browsing Netflix last night. I think it was last night. It doesn't matter. And I see that Happytime Murders is on Netflix. Well, hey. What the hey? I'll give it a shot. And I did. And I was incredibly pleased to see that it's actually quite good. It's nowhere near Roger Rabbit or anything, but I found it a solid, funny movie. I do think they would have been well served dialing back the raunch. I don't think it was necessary. Some of it actually works in context because it's just genuinely funny, but a lot of it was just like there's this. If you've seen the trailer, you know what I mean. But it was not nowhere near as bad. It is so much better than the marketing led me to believe, and I'm very happy to see that. It's I enjoyed it. It's funny. Melissa McCarthy plays the human lead, and she is acting her ass off in that. It's really great. Um, the puppet design is really good. Both the puppeteering and the puppet effects are. The puppeteering is all great. Most of the puppet effects works, even the full body ones where the characters are standing and walking around full body. Some of them don't quite work. You can tell that there are puppeteers in green suits that have been erased behind them, but the majority of the shots are sold really well. There's a really excellent, genuinely excellent, not just from a technical standpoint, but just from a technical standpoint, but also from a flat-out choreography standpoint, where Melissa McCarthy gets in a fist fight with a bunch of puppets. It's really well done. Um, so that made me happy. I was very glad to see that a movie I was excited to see years ago and then disappointed when I saw the trailer turned out to be solid. Not a masterpiece, but solid, and I'm glad I watched it. So, this brings me to Mortal Kombat! Which they're making another Mortal Kombat movie, and they released a trailer a couple days ago. Um, could be good. If it's not good, I don't think it's going to be campy enough to be charming. I have a feeling this is either just going to be a solid bloody actioner or just phenomenally dumb. Uh, Looks like one of those movies that's just not going to have a lot of middle ground in that respect. Um, the trailer is not great. It seems to be trying a little bit too hard. There's a portion towards the end of the character where it's just, I'm Raiden, I'm Liu Kang, I'm Kung Lao, I'm Sonya, I'm Sub Zero. It's like, oh my god, we look. Anyone watching the trailer who doesn't know who these characters are does not care. So, I don't think that was necessary. That's not the choice I would have made were I cutting the trailer. Um, I am very happy to see that a Mortal Kombat theatrically released movie. I know there's been other produced media of Mortal Kombat. I'm very happy to see a theatrically released, or maybe HBO Max or wherever. I don't know if it's going theater, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm glad to see that a Mortal Kombat movie is adopting blood and gore. You know, the single defining characteristic of the franchise it's based on. So that's nice. Um, they are smart and that they're at least using the melody of the original Mortal Kombat. You know, they're using at least the melody just slowed down in part of the trailer. Just use the techno song, guys. Everyone loves it, unless you know. Um, Also, crank up the color, please, cause it's looking really bland. There's a fight in the trailer between Sub-Zero and Scorpion. You know, the yellow ninja and the blue ninja. I can't tell which one's which. Everything is everything. Both characters and the environment are just kind of steely blue. I'm okay with them moving away from the 70s era ninja pajamas, but you don't need to pull all of the color out of it, guys. I mean, even the games are moving away from that era of costuming, but they're still colorful. Really, I shouldn't have any trouble distinguishing Scorpion from Sub-Zero in the same frame. That's all I'm saying. Nevertheless, I'm excited to check out a Mortal Kombat movie with blood and gore. I don't know why they're adding a character named Pete or whoever this is. Uh, Johnny Cage isn't in there, so is he going to end up being Johnny Cage? Why would you do it that way? With a franchise with 100 different characters in it, why would you make up Average Dude as the audience insert? I mean, you don't have to do it that way. I'm not saying it's not going to work. I'm not going to say Pete isn't going to become just an absolute classic Mortal Kombat character who's going to be featured in the games henceforth. But that would not be my initial idea were I in charge. But we'll see. Or we won't because I don't have HBO Max. So, yeah. Yeah. Chaos says, what bothers me about the MK movie is that there is an original character in the movie that seems to replace Johnny Cage. Okay, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Cage is an idiot. He seems like the guy you'd have to explain everything to. And it's like, well, I mean, but you also want the audience insert to be the hero. I mean, Cage won Mortal Kombat 10, or didn't he? Or was it Cassie? I can't remember. Did he win 9 and then Cassie won 10 or something? I think the Cages have been doing pretty well in the tournament. Um, Looking at my stats here. Okay, everything's still good. Uh, yeah, really, if Cage is not in there, that's fine. I am a little weirded out that Melina just has like raspberry jam on her cheeks instead of her mouth opening up the side with lots of shark or crocodile teeth kind of thing going on. Maybe that effect isn't finished. Who knows? But I'm gonna miss Puppet Goro. It looks like they have full CG Goro, and it looks fine. But I'm gonna miss Puppet Goro. Anyway, Mortal Kombat. I like Mortal Kombat. I'll be interested to see how the movie turns out. Let's see. What are we moving on to now? Okay, so a couple of years ago, Disney said, "You know what we need? We need a movie starring Maleficent. You know, the villainous character from Sleeping Beauty, who is such an evil twit that she so offended that she was not invited to a birthday party that she cursed the birthday girl with death. She says, all right, you're not going to invite me to your party? Then, little girl, on your 16th birthday, you're going to prick your finger on a spindle of a spinning wheel and die." It's a bit of an overreaction. And Disney said, you know what, we need to go into the backstory, see why Maleficent's like that. So they did. I have no idea how successful it was. It's successful enough to earn a sequel, at least. I've not seen either of them. I'd like to. I'm definitely curious. They seem to make some money. So Disney said, what other villains? Cruella de Vil. We need to get into the rich history of the woman who wants to skin cute dogs and wear them as a coat. A lot of people say, oh, she skins puppies. No, 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 she doesn't. Unless I'm remembering the movie incorrectly. Totally possible I haven't seen it in 3 decades. But if my memory serves, she's going to wait until the puppies are grown and get their spots. And then she's going to kill them and skin them and make them into a coat. She's not skinning the puppies. They don't have any spots. Or is there a point where she's like, adolescents, as soon as they get their spot, an adolescent, I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. But Cruella de Vil has her own movie now. And, yep. There is definitely a Cruella movie. Lindy says it wasn't a birthday party, it was Aurora's christening, but not like it matters. Oh, okay, wasn't it? You're right. It wasn't. It wasn't literally her birthday. Although the curse, I think, is goes into effect on her 16th birthday. You're right. Still, I mean, that makes it even pettier, right? It's like, I mean, not being invited to a birthday party, that's a thing, but a christening, I mean, come on. Thought you were busy. Maleficent. Mel, baby. Can I call you Mel? So we've got Maleficent, we've got Cruella, so I started thinking, okay, what other Disney villains get their own movie? Do we need to plumb the tragic backstory of, as like, Dom Claude Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame? Do we need to see Frollo in the teenage years? To see what made him the way he is today? Or how about Ratcliffe from Pocahontas. And then I thought, so far they're all female driven. So let's limit it to the female villains. Lindy's like, yeah, he'd be all, I don't have bangs, but hair hanging in his face, angsty and emo Frollo. Um, so I was thinking, who else? What other great female villains from Disney films past are we going to plumb for their own movie? And I was thinking, how about Madame Medusa from The Rescuers? What the hell's her story? That's a story that must be told. What if the hunter who shot Bambi's mom was a woman? Then we could have a biopic of her too. Susan, deer killer. Susan, slayer of Bambi's mom. Cafe Fox's Ursula. That's an obvious choice, but a good one. I think there. Seriously, I think there could be a lot of potential in a Ursula the early days, because there's definitely a history between Triton and Ursula there. Also, she's just such a fun damn character. So, um, but what about Lady Tremaine, the wicked stepmother in Cinderella? You know, um, was she always wicked, or was she always just just a grade A asshole, or was her first marriage just suck? you know, are the wicked stepsisters truly wicked, or is it just because Lady Tremaine raised them that way? I have not seen them, but from what I understand, at least one of the direct-to-video Cinderella sequels does try to rehabilitate Drusilla, or one of the stepsisters. No idea how successful that is, but I hear tell that's what happened. Um, so Mr. Superkick, that girl Darla from Nemo. Oh, is she the dentist's daughter in the kid who's like tapping the glass with the braces? Am I remembering that? Uh, oh, Anastasia. Is it Anastasia and Drusilla? Is that what it is? She became a better person in the sequels. Well, that's nice. Um, Isma from Eartha Kitt's character from Emperor's New Groove. Young Isma and Kronk Chronicles. That could be fun. Um, yeah, the dentist's niece is Lindsay. Yeah. Amazing. I actually remember who that is. Um, but uh, we must know the story of the evil queen from Snow White. Um, Grimhilde. Uh, if I had my pick, however, I think the one I'd be interested in maybe would be Mother Gothel from Rapunzel. No, Tangled. That's what they called it. They didn't call it Rapunzel. They called it Tangled. Why did they do that? Did did the did the name Rapunzel not test well? Did they think, did it not fit comfortably on marquees or marketing material? Did someone think it didn't roll off the tongue or was hard to read? Because they didn't change the character's name in the movie, I don't believe. I think she was just still Rapunzel in the movie. I don't know why the hell they changed the title to Tangled. I mean, You call it Rapunzel, you know exactly what you're getting. Gal with the long hair. You call it Tangled, have no idea. And then you see the trailer and you're like, oh, Rapunzel! Why not just call it Rapunzel? So, the real Bucky had so many fake Buckies. Have I done? I've probably done that joke before. Oh, Lindy and Bucky both have the inside scoop. Um, Lindy says in hopes to attract boys to watch the movie, and Bucky says it was to appeal more to boys, and that's why Flynn Rider was made. You mean Eugene? Um, I like Tangled. That came out in what 2010, so I would have been 30. So I guess I can't um, give the little boy perspective, but that seems like an odd thing because I can't imagine that would actually work. I'm trying to imagine a 10-year-old boy. So you've got two 10-year-old boys, one who knows who Rapunzel is and one who doesn't. So the 10-year-old boy watches the trailer and goes, "Oh, that's Rapunzel." The boy who doesn't know who Rapunzel is at least knows what a Disney princess is. It's like, and watches the trailer for Tangled and goes, "Oh, it's a Disney princess with long hair." I don't think the title made you any more money. I don't think it really lost any tickets. I would be interested in any study, I guess, that shows how effective that was or might have been. This kind of stuff I find really interesting because it's so unintuitive to me. It's like, oh, little boys don't want to watch a movie about Rapunzel, but it's a movie about Rapunzel. Well, they're not going to know that. As soon as they watch the trailer, they are. I mean, they're not going to know until they watch the trailer and they see the woman with the long hair, but if little boys don't like Rapunzel, they're instantly not going to like it the moment they figure out it's Rapunzel, which is going to be when they watch the trailer. Because it ain't subtle. Bucky says, "Lol, you have, but that is such a welcome joke." Oh, good, good, good. Lindy says, "Yes, idiotic executive decisions." Yeah, okay. So anyway, Mother Gothel. I think, therefore I am, that she could have been a much more interesting character in the. Use the muffler, asshole! Yeah, that showed him, and it's a him. Um, Mother Gothel. So, Mother Gothel, as presented in Tangled, is a woman who finds a magic youth flower and is keeping it all to herself. Uh, well, I think the king and the queen like eat it, or like the queen eats the flower or something, and so the baby now has the magic flower power. So Mother Gothel, uh, because her life is now sustained by this particular flower that she has been selfish in keeping to herself, does a mission impossible and breaks into the princess's the baby princess's bedchamber. like like you could maybe do a Mission Impossible movie with Mother Gothel, breaking into the castle. I mean, you think that would be hard to do. But she manages, and she goes in there, but all she's planning on doing is just snipping a locket of hair and taking it with her, and well, I don't have the flower, that's fine, I'll take some hair and I'll use that. Done. She's not looking to hurt anybody. She's just selfish. but at this point, her life is on the line. Well, then the guards come in, or the parents come, the king and queen come in, and she's like, "Oh shit, kidnap the baby," and she leaves. You know, and so she hides Rapunzel away in a tower, and um, basically keeps her flower potted so that no one else can find and eat that flower, like the queen did or something. I don't remember exactly what happened, but um, I thought what would have I thought that's a really interesting setup for the character. Unfortunately, they don't do much with her. I mean, she's a fun character and her songs are fun, but she's just evil. I thought what would have been more interesting for the character is she never intended to kidnap a baby. Never wanted a baby in the first place. She just wanted the magic youth juice. Um, so she kidnaps the baby and she hides it away or hides her away and locks her in a tower. But what if Mother Gothel, despite herself, actually cared for the baby she kidnapped? What if that was something she actually wrestled with? She likes Rapunzel, even loves her as a mother, because she's raised her all these years. And it actually hurts her to keep her locked up and keep the truth away from her, keep her away from her family. But she is so racked with fear that if she tells Rapunzel the truth, or if she lets her out, or if she takes her to her family, that she'll never see her again, and she will die in a particularly horrific manner, because she needs Rapunzel to stay alive. And there are if that's the case, there are a lot of places you could go with the character from there. You could have the heroic sacrifice where she lets her go and dies. You can do the thing where she has to make a choice and she makes the selfish choice. There, I thought there was a lot of potential to make that character much more compelling and interesting than ultimately she was in the film. So maybe you could go into some backstory there. I think there are depths to be plumbed. Or we could just have the adventures of Gaston or something. Eh, who else could there be? Let's say, ooh, Madam Mim. I don't know if this would work. I think this would probably work as a series of shorts, like 6 to 10, like Looney Tunes 6-minute cartoons. Just have a Madam Mim show. She could be like from a Sorcerer in the Stone. No, not Sorcerer. The King Arthur one. Sword in the Stone. The hell is the name of the movie? Yeah, Lindy knows who I'm talking about. She's the witch who battles Merlin in the King Arthur one, Sword in the Stone, I think, right? Yeah, Bucky is confirming, yeah, Sword in the Stone. Um, she's a fun character. I don't know if she could. That would be hard to get to have her carry an entire movie. But I think in like 6-minute cartoon shorts, I think she'd be great. She'd be a great, Bugs Bunny-esque character. Someone who's always just pranking and picking on other people, or Bugs Bunny, very early Mickey Mouse, that kind of a character. I think Madam Mim could carry her own cartoon series, or short cartoon series at least. I think that could be fun. So yeah, maybe Cruella will be good. Think they'll have an orchestrated version of Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil. If she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. Dee 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 dee. Probably. All right. So, Bucky says, "Did you play and beat Little Nightmares 1 or 2 yet? Can that entire series be a subject for an entire episode?" I I played I played part of the first one, so I'm thinking I probably played a demo. Um, I liked it. I really like it aesthetically. I felt it didn't control very well, though. I felt the controls were pretty finicky. So I've not played the. I think I've only played the demo. I've not played either game, uh, or at least I've not played the second one. I've not played the full first game. I've only played the demo. But I like a lot about it. If I could, I'd probably be able to get. I mean, it's not like it's uncontrollable. It's just the controls are a little wonky in places. Yeah, some of the jumping is just imprecise. Like you jump from box to box and you just miss, and you're like, what the hell? Or you're trying to grab a item or a doorknob and it's just not grabbing. Just frustrating stuff like that. But what I would like to talk about next is video game spin-offs, because I was thinking recently that a lot of video game series, a lot of times they will have that one oddball game where they try to do a genre shift or they do something just really, really different and piss off all the fans. Or it just doesn't work because that's just not what the series was designed to do. Like Link's crossbow training. you know? Um, Cafe Fox says, managed to convince my friend to play the first game because it's something she would like. I get to play it after her. Oh, okay. Yeah, really, aesthetically, I really like it. I think it'd probably be worth putting up with some, mildly finicky controls to play through something that aesthetically compelling. But anyway, I like it when video game series, established series, try something radically different. Even when it's not completely successful. Even when it's a complete failure. I at least admire the attempt. And truth be told, I really like a lot of the oddball side project entries. For example, you know that I'm a big, big fan of the Yakuza series. Well, the Yakuza series has an entry called Yakuza Dead Souls, which is Yakuza with zombies. So zombies invade Kamurocho, and instead of being a fisticuffed, a street brawler for the battle system, it's now a third-person shooter. I really like Yakuza of the. I'm sorry, that's the Japanese title. Dead Souls, Yakuza Dead Souls. It's what I think the most amazing thing about it, and something that I was surprised and delighted by when I played it, was I was expecting just a zombie shooter with Yakuza characters. No, it is literally a Yakuza game with zombies in it. So take any Yakuza game and with the whole town of Kamurocho and the wacky side quests and all of the mini games, and have zombies invade. That's exactly. There's still hostess clubs. There's still the arcades. It is still absolutely 100% a Yakuza game, except instead of punching people in the face, you're shooting zombies. Now, to be honest, the shooting is a little wonky. It doesn't, and the frame rate can suck at points, but it's not unplayable. And if you can get around the controls, if you can hack it, if you can deal with the controls, I found it a very satisfying entry in the series. I really enjoy it. None of the characters ever reference the events again. You know, it's like, hey, you remember when zombies invaded Kamurocho a few years ago? That was weird, wasn't it? And no one's ever mentioned it since, but I guess it's just something we don't talk about in polite company. Um, Danganronpa is a series of how to describe this one. So it's kind of it's a very um, fatalistic Phoenix Wright, where a bunch of school kids are trapped and forced to essentially murder each other and then figure out who the murderer is, or they all die. So it's kind of a battle royale situation where they're all trapped, and the warden, which is a teddy bear with sharp teeth, says, "If you want out, kill one of your fellow students, and then once someone dies, we'll have a trial. If they don't finger you as the culprit, they all die and you go free. But if no one kills anyone, then you guys just stay in here until you die." Every chapter, someone kills someone, and so there's an investigation period where you interview people and look for clues, and then there's the trial portion where it's not much more than a visual novel in that regard, but the characters and the writing is just tons of fun. I like it. Um, there's an entry called Ultra Despair Girls, which is a 3D action third person shooter. Completely different from all the other three games, but it's still Danganronpa, and I still really liked it. Let's see what else we got. Dragon Quest Swords. Dragon Quest, as most of you probably know, is one of the classic RPG franchises. Just a JRPG like Final Fantasy. It's been going since the 80s. It's still going today. Well, they made Dragon Quest Swords for the Wii, which is a first-person Dragon Quest game where you walk down linear paths and monsters jump out at you, and you waggle the remote at them to slashy slashy. That sounds phenomenally stupid. It actually really works though, and I genuinely like the game. It's just as charming as it still has all the wonderful Akira Toriyama designs. Hope I got that name right. Um, it's got all the charm. There's actually a town and item shops, and it's still Dragon Quest. It's just watered down a little bit for this first person waggle remote um, battle system. And coming from someone who generally hates waggle control, I actually enjoyed this game. I thought it was fun. It doesn't overstay its welcome. I'll give it that. What else? Star Fox Adventures. Star Fox, as I'm sure all you know, is a space combat sim or space combat action game. Star Fox Adventures is kind of is a action platformer adventure game in the mold of like Zelda Ocarina of Time that they just stuck the Star Fox license on. This was never meant to actually be a Star Fox spinoff, but they said, "Hey, what's that? What's that action adventure game that you're working on that stars a anthropomorphic fox?" Oh, it's Dinosaur Planet. Oh, it's Fox McCloud now. What? There's no spaceships. It's a planet of dinosaurs. Fox is a dude with a spaceship. What do you want? Just when he goes to different places, put him in a spaceship. He doesn't go to different planets. It's on a planet, one a planet, dinosaur planet. Um, Regardless, perhaps because I'm not a huge fan of the Star Fox games, because I like Rogue Squadron, the Star Wars game, but I never really cared that much for Star Fox. I like Star Fox Adventures. All of the Star Fox IP that was obviously crowbarred into it does not work. Most egregiously, I think, is the boss battle against General Scales. You get to the end of the game and you're getting up to the boss fight. The guy who kidnapped Princess Crystal or whatever her name is, the Blue Fox, and he's like, I'm General Scales, and I'm going to tear you a new furry bum, and then he just drops dead for reasons I don't remember anymore, and then you get in your R-Wing and you fight Andros for no reason other than it's a Star Fox game. You're like, what? What? Oh, now I have to do space combat? I haven't been doing that. Uh, I've, I, I bet the creatives at Rare, I bet that hurt in their soul. I bet every time they watch a Let's Play and it gets to that part, they're like, oh, fuck. You know? Uh, Bucky says, yes, exclamation point. Star Fox Adventures is a childhood favorite of mine. A Dinosaur Planet for N64 is just leaked for emulator. That's true. I actually read about that earlier today. I think someone like had it in Sweden or something and then sold it. But yeah, someone uploaded a playable with issues version of Dinosaur Planet that I think actually runs on N64 hardware. So, Bucky says, then Falco shows up for a few seconds and pisses off. He does. It's so funny. You're like, who the hell is that? No, if you ignore the clumsy crowbarring of the IP, Star Fox Adventures is I think, a solid and fun adventure game. I really enjoyed it. So, and let's not forget Metroid Pinball. um, but gonna have to end the show. Well, it's 8 o'clock. 'Cause I'm out of water. But what did I think of the new Monster Hunter trailer? Oh, the game. I was thinking the movie. I'm like, what? The movie had a new trailer? Why? Cafe Fox is so much shoehorning. I'll get to that in a minute. Um, I like it when series try new things. Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not. Federation Force. Actually, I've heard from a few people that Federation Force is actually on its own merits a fine game. It's just not what anybody wanted. Um, but what I find interesting is when you look at developers like Nintendo, when you're good enough, not only can you get a great spin-off game, but you can make a whole new franchise out of the spin-off. I mean, look at Super Mario Brothers. We've got we've got Mario Brothers games out the wazoo going for decades, but spun off from just Super Mario Brothers. We've got Super Smash Brothers, a fighting game, Mario Kart, a kart racing game, Mario Party, a board game thing, Paper Mario, also Mario and Luigi, two different kind of RPG franchises. You've got Mario Golf and a bunch of other Mario sports games. And then you have Mario versus Donkey Kong. Then you have franchises that have spun off from individual characters. Like you've got the Luigi's Mansion games. You've got Wario has two franchises. He's got the Wario platformers and the WarioWare games. Yoshi has a whole series of games. So yeah, don't be afraid to try new things. Yeah, Cafe points out the Wario series, right? And Bucky says, or Super Mario Pinball, or Pokemon Pinball, right, right, right. Hell, you could consider the Donkey Kong games a spin-off from although, maybe, or you could say that Mario Brothers is a spin-off of Donkey Kong. So Banjo Kazooie was spun off from Diddy Kong Racing. Captain Toad, that's right. Yeah, Treasure Tracker. Yeah. Banjo Kazooie is spun off from Diddy Kong Racing. Was it? Huh. So, since I was asked, I guess I'll talk about the Nintendo Direct. Because unlike the BlizzCon line, I actually did watch the Nintendo Direct. So, I actually have it open here. I don't know why I'm doing that. There's nothing in here. It's empty. Like my soul. So I have actually the Nintendo's press release, which highlights the various announcements. So I'll just go with that. So Splatoon 3. Well, that was an odd trailer, was it not? Um, so it starts out with a squidling, whatever they're called, in a desert with a little rat friend with a mohawk, and and they catch a bus and they ride the bus, and I'm getting kind of Half-Life vibes here. You know, the whole tram ride into work that just lasts forever, and it's boring, and nothing happens. And this presentation is already 50 minutes long, although this was in the middle somewhere. Um, and then they get to a city which, if you're someone like me and is not has not played the games, it looks like the exact same city, but I'm sure that's a different city. I thought it was a weird trailer because other than a bow and arrow looking weapon, doesn't seem to be much new. But then again, it's just more Splatoon. So, and Splatoon's cool, and the music is on par. So, kind of an oddly dull trailer, though. So Pyra's joining and her alter ego Mithra. I get one Blade and Driver. Is that what the things are? Anyway, they're joining Super Smash Brothers. Um, I appreciate the small tweaks they did to the character design, considering that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has some of the worst character design in any video game ever, and I'm talking like hybrid heaven levels of just bad character design. That doesn't mean the game is bad. I love hybrid heaven, and that is some of the worst character design I've ever seen. I liked Body Harvest. That also has terrible character design. Um, I there's no water in there. I can put that down. Um, Cafe Fox says at first it seems like it's going to be an open world game. I was like, yeah, are we putting goop on the sand? Cass says the world is in chaos due to how the final Splatfest ended for Splatoon 2. Oh, okay. I don't know that, so all that context was lost on me. But I mean, so I appreciate. I would have gone further, but I mean, if you go further, then they're not the characters anymore. Maybe if you go too far, so nice balance, maybe. Eh. But anyway, yeah, they look cool. So hey, if you're a fan of Xenoblade 2, then you've got Pyra and Mithra there, so cool. Skyward Sword HD. That's a Wii game coming out on the Switch. Cool. Oh, hey, they figured out a way to not have to make you waggle to do the sword. Because Nintendo went on record saying it'd be impossible to just do it because people were asking, can we just play with buttons? Do we have to do the waggle stuff? And they're like, no, it's literally impossible. And I said back then, no, it's not. And 10 years later, I was proven right. I'd rather them just provide button controls in the first place than being proven right 10 years later. But Skyward Sword's a fine game. So, new Mario Golf, cool. Square Enix is at it again with its fun names. It's got at first they had a Project Octopath Traveler, and that game actually ended up being called Octopath Traveler. So Project Triangle Strategy, which they say is a working title, but I'm betting that the final game is just going to be called Triangle Strategy. Um, it's a strategy game. It's got kind of a 3D pixel art aesthetic going on, so similar to Octopath Traveler. I downloaded the demo, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I'm guessing it's probably not going to be for me. Um, it's it looks kind of like Disgaea, or I'm looking for the game that I'm trying to think of. Brave something. Nope, can't remember the name. But those usually aren't or Fire Emblem, Disgaea, those kind of strategy tactics game, Tactics Ogre, stuff like that. Normally not my bag, so I'll be interested to try the demo and see if it clicks for me. Fall Guys, cool, yeah, fine. Star Wars Hunters. Who the hell knows? It's Star Wars. You hunt something. The trailer tells you absolutely nothing about the game, which is funny for a game that apparently launches this year. You think they'd have been able to show more of what it actually is. Now, I can read the press release. I know what it is now, but the trailer didn't help. Let's see. Oh, Monster Hunter Rise. Okay, yeah. So that's what. Uh, Reverend Werewolf was asking me about. Oh, okay. Banjo Kazooie is Banjo's first appearance. Diddy Kong Racing was Banjo and Kazooie's first appearance. My guess, though, is that Banjo Kazooie was already in development, so they just brought the characters over. Even if they did, if that was their first appearance, I don't think Banjo Kazooie was actually spun off of Diddy Kong Racing, but could be wrong. I'm probably Inkling. I said Squidling, right? Yeah, it's Inkling. Okay. Let's see. Octopath Tactics there. What about a Mario American football game, aptly called Super Mario Huddle? Hmm. Dr. 20XX Bravely Default. Was that in there? Well, if it's on the press release, it's on there somewhere. But now we are talking about Monster Hunter Rise. Well, I'm excited. Looks cool. By my count, there are around 30 monsters announced for Monster Hunter Rise. About a third of them are new. I prefer a higher ratio of new to returning monsters. You know, I mean, I'm happy to see old favorites return. But people are like, "Oh my God, Rajang!" I'm like, "But you just fought him in World and Iceborne or Iceborne. Just fought. I mean, yeah, cool. But I'm much more excited about the new monsters. I really like uh, Arachnidachi or whatever its name is, the spider monster thing. That looks really cool. I like the Amal Amaludon or whatever it's called, the mud leviathan with the fantastic mustache. Um, the, yeah, Rise looks great. I'm really excited to play that. Um, Diablos is back. Yeah. No one's mentioned an Elder Dragon yet. Yeah, that I'm sure there will be Elder Dragons in the game. The flagship of Magna Malo is not an Elder Dragon. It's a Fanged Beast, from what I understand. So, Cafe Fox says I like the inclusion of the puppers, but I'm going to stick with World. Um, okay. Yeah, I will probably have a Palamute and a Palico. You know, one of each. I imagine that's how I'll run it. Um, but I'm really interested to see how the siege mechanic or rampage mechanic is pulled off in the game. It looks like you can have at least three large monsters on screen at the same time. Will the Switch be able to hack it? We shall see. Um, will Hinoa and the whatever her sister's name is, will they be, if you're playing offline by yourself, do the villagers come help? Is that what that bit at the end was there? Um, yeah, it looks great. I'm excited for Monster Hunter. So, Miitopia is being ported to Switch. Does anybody care? I don't know. I don't, but someone might. Knockout City. Okay, this was a weird one because the I was much more interested by the idea of a genre aesthetic mashup because the how the commercial or the advertisement was presented was you had a pixel art cartoon princess sitting on a couch being interviewed about something. Then you had a ski mask wearing military gun toting dude, and then you had a World of Warcraft uh, orc. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. So we're having a characters from different genres and presentations of games mixed up. No, it's just dodgeball. Which maybe it'll be fun, but you got to be careful that your commercial isn't more entertaining than your game. Like, oh, this looks awesome. Oh, that's the game. Oh, why isn't the game your commercial? I want to play the snarky pixel art princess. She's not even in the game. Huh. DC Superhero Girls. I like the show. The new one, the Lauren Faust one, not the original really bland and generic one, but the new one's actually genuinely really good. Um, so I mean, if the game manages to capture its charm, then hey, cool. Now here's one that really interests me: Famicom Detective Club. These are remakes of old Famicom visual novel mystery games that I have never heard of, but I'm definitely intrigued. I would have liked for them to show off a bit more mechanically how the games work. I mean, there's one shot of a menu where you can like interview, search something. So I'm getting kind of an idea of how these might actually play, but I would have preferred the trailer to be a bit more specific, especially for, a Western audience who's never even heard of this series before. But it's got my interest, so keep an eye out on that. Plants vs. Zombies, I don't care. Apex Legends, I don't care. Legend of Mana, cool. Remastered version of Legend of Mana. Outer Wilds, that's been out for years, but that's um, coming to Switch, so cool. Samurai Warriors 5, cool. World's End Club. So remember, I was talking about Danganronpa earlier. This is a collaboration from the creators behind both Danganronpa and the escape room type of games, the nonary game, the 9 doors, 9 hours, 9 peoples, Zero Time Dilemma, and Zero something. Those games. So they came together to make a game called World's End Club, and I'll be honest, the trailer didn't do anything for me. If I didn't know the pedigree of the creators behind this title, I wouldn't be interested at all, but I do, so I am. I would have liked the trailer to grab me a little harder and squeeze. Animal Crossing, New Horizons, with putting Super Mario stuff in it, so I don't know. I'll ask my sister if she cares. um, Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity is getting DLC. It's $20, and they're not telling you what's in it, but they're gonna take your money. You can give them their money. I actually looked it up on the website, and it's two waves, and wave one is expanded roster, newly added weapon types, new challenges in the Royal Ancient Lab, and newly added challenging enemies. So it looks like a couple characters and weapons and some just challenges that just remix existing assets. And then second wave, which is way in next November, new character vignettes, newly added stages, expanded roster, and new battle skills for existing characters. So that tells me that not only is it getting new characters, but we're getting new story bits with them. So I would have liked, again, since you're letting us give you our money, I still think you should be a bit more forthcoming with what we're buying. You know, expanded roster. One is an expanded roster. Say three new characters. Three new characters, two new maps, two new weapon types. That kind of a thing. Like they did with Mario Kart 7, I think. Where they're like, wave one is going to be three new carts, three new tracks, three new characters, or something like that. It's like they didn't tell you what it was going to be, but they told you what you were getting. I prefer that approach. Anyway, I haven't bought Age of Calamity yet, so maybe I'll wait until Switch 2, where they will have the definitive edition. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection looks cool. Capcom Arcade Stadium. This trailer I found confusing as to what this was. At first I was like, oh, it's a collection of like 25 or 30 games. Neat. And then they said you can buy 1943. I'm like, and Ghosts and Goblins. And I'm like, wait, is it a collection or is it a like Pinball FX where you buy packs of games? Now I have the answer now, but the commercial didn't make it clear at all, which is my point. Bucky says off topic, but sound off on these names for Smash. Okay, I'll circle back to that because I'm almost done. Maybe. All right, let's power through. No More Heroes 3. I hope it's good. I like No More Heroes 1. I like parts of No More Heroes 2, but I think there were some humongous problems with the sequel that made it actually kind of bad. But I thought the whatever the No More Heroes that came out like a year ago, that kind of side story one, I thought it looked awful, and I heard it was awful. But I definitely hope that No More Heroes 3 is great because I really like the first one, and I like parts of the second one too. Neon White. Oh yeah, it's like a first-person shooter, but you have like a playing cards that you're throwing at people. I That one needed, for me at least, needed some more explanation on mechanically how it worked because it looked like a card battler system, but with the real-time freneticism of a first-person shooter. It's like, how do you cycle through your deck and pick your cards that quickly? I don't know. So, yeah. Oh, here we are. Yeah, Bravely Default 2. I never play. I've played the demos for both Bravely Default and 2, and they never really grabbed me. Um,
So, but I know a lot of people really like them. So hey, Tales from the Borderlands, old game, but it's Telltale stuff. Great. Stubbs the Zombie. Now there's an old game. So that's coming back. Nifty. Hades is getting a physical release. Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. That's coming to all the consoles, so I don't know why. So if you want to play it portably, I guess get it on the Switch. Otherwise, I'm sure it runs, plays, and looks better on every other platform. So, and then Saga Frontier Remastered. So I've not played Saga Frontier, but yeah, it looks nice. So there's the Nintendo Direct. It was a nice Direct. It was fine. All right, so Bucky's Smash Brothers. All right, King Hippo. Well, we've already got Little Mac reppin', so I could definitely see King Hippo because he's just such an iconic design. Um, his move set is super simple, though. I think you'd have to if you had him as I think he'd work great as like an assist trophy as a main fighter. You'd have to get really creative and extrapolate a lot of what his moves would be because you know I mean you could do it, but I think most of his moves would be kind of original rather than because otherwise he just he doesn't do that much. What other characters from Punch Out? Let's see. Oh, hey, Yugo Sotapopinski. Yeah, I think it would be the later game characters would have the move sets um, that are more just the more complex and varied move sets that I think would lend to a full-fledged Smash character. So if I had my pick without giving it a ton of thought, just off the top of my head right now, the one I'm leaning towards is Super Macho Man because he's just so damn funny. I just love the character. Um, Imagine all of his taunts. Let's see. Rachel from Ninja Gaiden after Ryu Hayabusa. Um, yeah, I mean, there's Ninja Gaiden has a lot of rogues gallery of supporting characters that could definitely show up. But yeah, they'd probably go with Ryu Hayabusa, and then having Rachel and some of the other like Kasumi and some of the others like show up as maybe assists or final smash characters. Um, Tracer. Who the hell is? Oh, Overwatch. Overwatch. Widowmaker. Roadhog, I think, is another Overwatch character. If anyone from Overwatch showed up in Smash Brothers, yeah, I think Tracer probably would probably be the pick. She's the most probably because she's the face of the at least the first game. I haven't watched the trailer for the second one. Um, Definitely the most I think certainly the most identifiable character. Then again, they went with Min Min from Arms, so they might look at one of the other characters from the Overwatch lineup and say maybe not as recognizable as Tracer, but just lend the move set lends itself to the gameplay that we want to introduce into Smash. So, Doctor Robotnik, or Doctor Wily. the thing is with both of those characters is, as far as fighting goes, they're more known for different vehicles in in each in each game. You could have Wily throwing Mets and man, I'm trying to various Mega Man enemy characters at you. Um, how would you do? Robotnik is the more visually interesting of the two. Wily's just a dude. Um, but both of them, uh, again, are more known for the vehicles and contraptions that they attack the protagonist of their game series in, and they use a different one in each game. So, man, how would you do that? Because it's hard because I don't know how you would narrow it down to just one vehicle, or if you could have some weird thing where the vehicle keeps transforming into a bunch of classic looks, and there's so many games that there's just so many classic looks. Again, there's nothing in here. I don't know what I'm doing with that. Let's see. Wart and Young or Toon Zelda. I would be more interested in the disguised Toon Zelda, so the pirate Zelda, Petra or something. What was her name in Wind Waker? Of course, you could do that in one of the Smash Brothers. That you had Zelda and Sheik swapping places, so you could do something like that. But Tetra, not Petra. Tetra. Thank you, Bucky. Um, I'd be more interested in that character than a Toon or Young Zelda, just because she's more visually distinct and interesting. Um, but you could definitely have her like transform into Zelda and do the Arrow of Light attack in a Final Smash or something like that. Wart would be cool just because people love Wart, and he never gets to come back and do anything. Um, Again, another character who you'd have to be really pardon me. You'd have to make up a lot of moves for him because he just doesn't have enough appearances to have a variety of moves to be known for. But it would be nice to see him again. So, yeah. All right. It is 8:30. Went a little long, but I enjoy speaking with you fine folks oh so much. But I think we will call it here. So I'm looking at OBS here and didn't seem to drop any frames. I'll check the video later and make sure that it looks okay and it sounds okay. And if it's okay, and would Wart have some kind of extra damage from Peach and Daisy's vegetable attacks? Maybe. Um, yeah, so the PC seems to be streaming just fine. So next week, I'm going to I'll have two fans in there to help cool the graphics card, and we'll try my dual monitor setup. And if that goes swimmingly, then we'll resume the Sunday stream on that Sunday, which is the 28th. So last day of February. All right. So that is it for me. Thank you everyone for hanging out with me and talking video games. I do so love to wax endlessly about consumable entertainment, so I'm glad you guys enjoy listening to it. All right. Have a phenomenal rest of your weekend, everyone, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye bye.